From Provo, Utah, this is the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast with your hosts, Joseph DeGolier and Caleb Schweiss. This is Ultima Final Fantasy.
Welcome to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. I am Joe.
And I'm Caleb.
And today we're going to return to our long-running series titled The History of Square Enix. As if it's like super old, but it's really not. It's like 1987 to 1990.
Yeah, well, I mean,
covering.
Gaming is a fairly new deal. So
it is, but it's kind of weird putting the word history in front of it, though.
Yeah,
like for me, because when I think history, I think of people in red coats and crap. I don't know.
Yeah,
and wigs.
The red coats.
The British are coming.
Yes.
Schweiss, where are you in Final Fantasy 3 or 13?
The same exact place I was a week ago. I haven't played it once.
So much disappointment coming from this end.
So much disappointment coming from the game.
Oh, why is that?
It just hasn't motivated me to play. I don't know. It's weird. I just haven't cared this week.
Yeah, maybe you should start caring.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll beat the game regardless.
Will ya?
Yeah, I'm at the end.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm on the final chapter.
But you were gonna platinum it, remember?
Well, you were gonna do everything in 12 too, and platinum 10.
I did everything I set out to do in 12. What are you talking about?
Yeah, maybe. But
yeah, definitely.
Well, I don't want to hear it from you.
We have an audio history here. We
also have one of you wanting to platinum 10 and then not doing shit.
I wanted to platinum 10. That's not the issue. 13 is actually doable on the platinuming side.
They're all doable.
The freaking Chocobo race is impossible in Final Fantasy X. I am sorry.
Hey, man, I did it twice.
Yeah, whatever. You just somehow cheated. You got into the game code, and it allowed you to win the Chocobo bullshit.
Yeah, no, I am going to try to platinum 13 still. I just need to come up with a schedule for the streaming. That's what most streamers have.
Well,
have
you
like
had
a little
schedule. You just stopped.
It wasn't really a schedule. It was just a few days a week. It wasn't every day. At some point it was, but I don't want to play that game every day.
Okay, what's your schedule for the week?
Well, I don't know yet. But a lot of streamers have like a little schedule on their profile, and it'll show like when they're supposed to be on and shit. So I'll probably do something like that.
Okay, you gonna do that this week?
Sure. Sure.
Fair enough.
What about you? Did you play any 13?
Yes, I did play some 13. I started doing hunts, and I started upgrading weapons, and I realized just how much grinding I have left in the game. Man. So I'm a little under-leveled now. Remember how I was over-leveled? Well, I got through Chapter 11 extremely quickly, and then... Chapter 11 and Chapter 12 extremely quickly after I leveled up all that.
Mm-hmm.
When I got to Orphan, I was underleveled just because I hadn't done anything during that. So I've gone down back to Grand Pulse to do the hunts, but I'm not 5-starring the hunts very often. I'm like 4-starring most of them, which is really infuriating because I know later I have to go back and do that. But I think it's after hunt number 55 where you get the experience growth egg or whatever it's called. And you can put that on your character, and I think they get like double XP. So I kind of want to just do all the hunts that I can, max out my guys as much as possible, then go beat the game, have the stuff unlocked, and then go back, max them out completely, and, of course, upgrade their weapons, which is a very expensive process, by the way.
Yeah. Well, especially if you didn't grab her little machine guy, which I'm sure you didn't do, because it's...
Her little machine guy?
Yeah, Vanille has this little robot pet. This little fucking robot dude, and I can't remember exactly where he's at. He's on on Pulse, obviously, since that's the only place you can actually move left and right instead of front and back. But there's this little room, and then you find this robot, and you're like, oh, we got to go. He's like breaking down and shit, and he's really old. He's been there for a while, and Saz is like, oh, well, a few more parts, and I can fix him up. So you got to walk around the area and find a bunch of parts.
Okay.
Now, that took like forever, for me especially, because I was drinking when I was playing it, so I was like, oh, God, have I been over here? I mean, what's going on? But I took a while to do that, and then he gave me one of those, what was it, like a golden nugget or something like that I got from him, and that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, but how much is a lot?
I think it was like, I don't even remember, man. I'm thinking like 20,000, but I think it was more.
Okay, that is not enough.
I think it was a lot. It might have been a lot more. I don't know.
The item to get a weapon from the 2nd tier to the 3rd tier, which is the ultimate weapon range, which you have to do for 6 characters. So you got 6 times. You got to do this. It's 2 million gil.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I didn't do that then.
2 million gil each.
Did you get the trophy for the amount of steps on the lower area?
Amount of steps on the lower
Yeah, it's like
area?
100,000 steps or something like that on the lower area of the world, like on Pulse.
I have no idea.
It says that, but I got it after I talked to after I repaired the robot guy. So like, I don't know what it's going at. Like if it's some stupidly worded thing, but it says amount of steps, and it happened after I got.
I don't know, man. I'm just worried about hunts, and I got to get my guys up because I know the thing that you got to do in order to get a lot of money in that game is take out those adamantoids dudes that will kill you in one hit if you don't have your protective spells up. So
that means we have to use hope.
Oh, God. You can use any character if you got all their stuff maxed out.
You can, but
yeah,
I don't have anyone
else. It's a lot of XP also. It's a lot of work going forward.
It is, yeah.
I might have to add another month to the playtime.
Oh, my God.
In order to platinum this game. But I'm having fun in it. Like, it's a fun game. Even doing the extra stuff. It's not as grindy as 12 to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not quite as grindy, but no, actually it is. It's just as grindy as 12.
Do you think it's just as grindy as 12? I mean,
Yeah.
I'll find out when I have to get 2 million gil per person. But for now,
it's just more
fine.
fast-paced grinding.
Yeah, that's what I like about it, is how fast-paced it is. Maybe that's it.
I don't know. I mean, it's got its merits, but it hasn't really motivated me to play it for some reason.
You're such a Debbie Downer this episode.
How am I being a downer?
You're being a downer. All right. So, by the way, guys, if you want to listen to this downer or this upper,
oh yeah, the upper.
We're on youtube.com/Ultimate Final Fantasy, Twitter @UFF Podcast. You can talk to the upper directly, or the downer directly from there.
I was gonna say, you don't do shit on there.
The upper occasionally logs on to Twitter, and you know you're talking to me because I always put my name on the post. Just to let you guys know that you're talking.
If you don't see it on any of these, it's most likely me.
It's definitely him. You can go to facebook.com/Ultimate Final Fantasy. Like us there, please. You can find us at Twitch. You can find Caleb at twitch.tv/Ultimate Final Fantasy, where he will sometimes play Final Fantasy XIII. Mm-hmm. Are you going to play it this week?
Yeah, I should.
Okay. Log on to there and watch him play. You can go to our website, ultimatefinalfantasy.com, join our forums, which is bustling with people. So, join in the conversation at ultimatefinalfantasy.boards.net, or just go to ultimatefinalfantasy.com, click on forums. Our last thing, of course, is that you can support us on Patreon. And what happened this week, Caleb?
Oh, I got a few more hefty supporters on Patreon.
Yeah.
So
we got some serious new support on Patreon.
Yeah, somebody gave us $50 and somebody gave us $30, which is crazy, but it also puts us over another one of our goals, which I think
we still got to beat the last goal.
We're falling behind on that. Yeah, I know Dave's working on a new album.
Look, man, Dave is busy
and all that.
But Dave, okay, all right, this is gonna be like a Hajime Tabata percentage thing. Dave is 75% of the way done. Okay, he's 75% of the way done with Melodies of Life, which has turned out to be a 7-minute track.
Oh, wow.
So, give the guy a little bit of slack.
Is it going to be is he going to put it on his new CD?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think it matches quite with the
15th Megadeth CD.
With the 15th Megadeth CD. However, I don't know. We'll see. Probably not, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably isn't going to put it on the new album,
Well,
but we'll see. I mean, there is a possibility.
Square would probably be all up in that.
A very low possibility, but there is one.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, the new goal is a new website, which we're obviously going to include a forum on there. So all of the forum stuff that we have now will be destroyed
eventually.
Once we get everything up.
We have to find someone to make the site.
Yes.
So give us a little time. Be a little patient. We're freaking out over here, believe it or not. So
yeah, it's
like, crap, how are we going to do this?
Yeah, I mean, we really want it, but it's, we don't know how to do any of that stuff.
So we got to find someone to help us create the site. So, shall we move on to our discussion?
Yeah.
Talking about the history of Square. No, wait. What am I doing? Schweiss, we gotta do some news.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we?
You're getting all sorts of carried away.
So
today.
Rusty today.
Yeah. Well, last time we forget the question from us to you, and then now we're forgetting news. And
yeah. Well, hey, we had a giant hike. We had 2 weeks where we had the small episodes, and then then we did a cooking episode, which of course waxed things up even more.
True.
And I was sick this week, so you know what? Just be nice to me. All right, just be nice.
All right.
I'm trying so hard. I did this entire write-up on the history of Square Enix Part 3. I'm ready.
Yeah.
But let's move on to news. News.
All right, so first up in news. Apparently, this is from Sakaguchi. He said FF6 originally didn't sell well in the US. And obviously it did very well in Japan. I don't know, kind of a weird article, but I don't know any numbers. But I mean, I don't know. A lot of people I know think 6 is the best, so
6 didn't sell well in the States? No, that's not true.
Apparently not up front.
Not up front. Maybe
at least.
Maybe it was it slowly started to build momentum, because I know that game is a pretty big game here.
Yeah, but a lot of people started with the 7th one, and people
it
normally
didn't
don't
sell as well as 7.
People normally don't look back as much.
We'll see. I mean, I still got to do that section of the history of Square Enix. We'll see what their numbers are like. Initially, though, it didn't sell that well, so he's mystified that the mobile version of the game is doing really well. That's interesting.
He finds that very interesting, which is kind of cool. I mean, I don't know. I think 6 is great, and doesn't matter how well it sells.
Yeah,
I mean,
6 is amazing.
As long as it doesn't bankrupt the company, of course. All right, so this is another interesting article here. This is apparently at the Tokyo Game Show, they're teasing a secret stage event, which they've released a full schedule and a promotional trailer for the next for next week's Tokyo Game Show, which is this week when you guys get this episode. And it's got stuff from 15, Dragon Quest Builders, Star Ocean 5, Just Cause 3, and some more stuff, but it doesn't actually reveal anything. And I clicked on the link to see the schedule, and it's all in Japanese.
Oh, awesome.
So there's a secret thing on it, though. It's like, it just says
it's secret because it's in Japanese, maybe?
Yeah. No, it's just a section called secret. So whatever that means.
Oh, is it Final Fantasy XV release date?
No, it's probably not. It's probably them being dicks, and
maybe it's Final Fantasy 16.
Maybe.
Of course, they usually wait till E3 to announce those things, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, that would be the place to do it. That's the biggest.
Yeah. And then everybody's going to be like, "Why are you freaking announcing 16? You haven't even done 15 yet." Or
right. That'll be a big conversation piece, and then 16 will be 50% done.
It'll be weird to see that after all of this. I mean, it's been so long since we had like a real Final Fantasy release or like even an announcement. It's just been 15 for years now, or versus 13 or whatever. It's gonna be a weird thing to see a trailer for the next Final Fantasy.
Yeah, that'll be strange. I mean, it won't matter.
Think about it. Like, imagine a trailer. You can't imagine what it's going to be. It's going to be completely mysterious. You have no idea what it's going to be. And it's, of course, who knows when that'll happen, too. Like, well, it's not even
there's that. And then you got to take into consideration the fact that, the trailer we'll see will be 16, but then it'll become Final Fantasy 13-4 and... take like 10 years to...
No, it'll be 15-2 and will become
yes.
16 or 17.
Yeah. And they'll like trade whoever's in charge.
Yeah.
All sorts of good stuff. So Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, apparently is in South Korea and it's doing pretty well. And they're averaging about 250,000
players. Wow. Mm-hmm. Per day?
That's what it's saying, yeah.
Jeez.
And South Koreans are averaging about 313 minutes of game time each day. That's disgusting. That's 5 hours.
Well, I personally do 6 or 7. But
yeah.
Well, wait, no, I don't.
So yeah, that's cool.
Wow, so it's doing really well in South Korea. That's good.
Yeah, apparently, and this is kind of cool. Let's just listen to this. Some freaking wrestler just comes out with the trombone and uses the victory theme for Final Fantasy. I thought that was kind of weird.
That was on WWE or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not that we, care about wrestling necessarily, but it's kind of weird that he would use that as his...
It's so strange because growing up around here, never knew anyone into wrestling. Ever.
Really?
Really? Like, ever. I know your sister's into it.
Oh, my uncle is too. And he's from around here.
Okay. Well...
Oh, they're idiots.
None of my friends growing up were into it. I don't think anybody I knew, a single person was into it was into wrestling. And it's so strange as the internet has made it clear that it is a very popular thing. And it is so mysterious to me. I have no idea why people are into the fake wrestling.
I don't know either. But, I mean, it's cool when...
it is interesting when the guy brings up the Final Fantasy thing.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. But I mean, I don't know. It's kind of cool when some of the guys that do wrestle end up, doing MMA stuff later and doing very well. So it's like not all of them can't fight. It's just they're actors and some can't. I know.
Anyway. It's the theatricality of it, I guess. But I've never known anyone into it.
Yeah.
Still don't know anybody into it, except that I know that people are into it, and it's this giant cultural thing that I have zero contact with. It's strange.
Well, I mean, it's super fake. So that Man-at-Arms blacksmith show or whatever it is. It's like a YouTube deal, I think. They're the ones that made a bunch of Final Fantasy swords a while back, and someone was mentioning it on the forums and stuff like that. So apparently they've been working on like keyblades and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't really...
New Keyblades?
Yeah.
You want to watch the video for a second?
Sure.
Yeah.
11 minutes.
Watch it. It's presented by Dickies.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to do a drum roll. I'll skip a little bit.
And winch wheel over there.
Using a couple of old...
All right.
A barrel, some K wool, and a weed burner. It's going to achieve the temperature without any difficulty. We've added charcoal to even it out, to reduce oxygen.
I've never heard of this thing, but it's pretty cool. Don't have time to watch it all, but
nope.
They are making the Keyblade out of steel.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I don't think I'd ever pay for anything like that, but it'd be cool to.
No, but I'd allow someone to give it to me. I mean,
oh, I bet you would.
Oh.
So, yeah, that one's useless. All right, so another one of Square Enix's awesome things that they do is new Final Fantasy Adventure details to be revealed on September 17th.
Oh, I love news news is coming.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know why they do that. Like, just release the news.
September 17th, we're going to find more information about some Final Fantasy adventure game.
Yeah, also known as Mystic Quest in Europe, which is, as we know, the first Mana game.
Yeah.
So this one's mobile, though, so we don't have to worry about it. But yeah, we'll hear more in a little while.
Yeah. Oh,
so
by the way,
how
we're still waiting for freaking reviews for mobile games.
Yeah, you guys are really
do that.
Dropping the ball. So this is an interesting little deal that Square Enix has been doing with 14.
Okay.
Remember how we were talking about this last week and wanting
Oh, they got a census.
Yeah, and apparently...
Does it have total players, though?
Apparently there's 96 billion hours played by everybody.
Wow.
Which is disgusting. Yeah, and then there's some graphs here. Right now we're looking at the gender distribution one. It's 50-50 in Japan for male and female, which is weird. North America, obviously more male, and Europe more female, too.
What?
Yeah. Like,
I go over to Europe.
Yeah, like substantially. Some races, some average levels, yada, yada. Yeah, the total hours is disgusting.
Jesus, dude.
But,
what was that, Gil? Oh, no, that's... Yeah.
1,000 million billion trillion.
Yeah,
3.5 trillion gil earned.
Oh, Jesus. From all worlds in Final Fantasy XIV. Man. Oh, I wish we had time to crack into this some more.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Jumbo Cactpop.
So look up, it's on Siliconera. It's Final Fantasy XIV players played 96 billion total hours, and it has a big census on there about Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah. I put in probably like 10 of those hours, so I'm part of the number. I'm a statistic.
Nice.
So the most important news to me, and something we've talked about them needing to do, is Final Fantasy V is coming to PC on September 24th.
Ah, is it on Steam?
It is Steam.
To
$16 if you pre-order it. Or no, that's 10% off if you pre-order. So $14.40.
Okay.
But yeah, they're releasing it September 24th, and
wow,
they're bringing back apparently Kazuko Shibuya, who is the guy who did the Game Boy Advance version.
Oh, that's good.
So he's enhancing
that's good.
The version he did. There's new controls.
It's more fluid, I guess.
26 classes.
Well, we already know that.
Sealed Temple, an additional dungeon originally featured in the 2006 version on the Game Boy Advance. So this is kind of the version to get if you don't have it. And then, of course, there are Steam trading cards, which is awesome. And you can get the badge.
You're going to be all over
Final
that?
Fantasy. No. But you have to buy it. Actually, no. Do you? I might be able to just buy the cards and craft the badge for a game I don't own.
Dude, okay, listen. You might have to go back and listen to our Final Fantasy V review, and I know most of you have not beaten Final Fantasy V. I know most of our listeners have not. It's simply because it's an overlooked Final Fantasy game. This is the perfect opportunity to go and play Final Fantasy V. It is a fantastic addition to the Final Fantasy series. Seriously underrated, I believe.
Yeah, it's a really good one. And yes, $16 and you can get it on Steam.
So let's support that, all right? Shall we talk about the NES era of Square and Enix?
Sure.
All right, let's get to that. All right, Schweiss. So the history of Square Enix Part 3. So if you remember, we did the history of Enix and we did the history of Square right before they really began to emerge. Mm-hmm. We got all the way to 1987 where the stage was set. Enix had two mega hits on its hands, both Dragon Quest 1 and 2, and Square had broke through with their kind of copy of Dragon Quest, the first Final Fantasy game. Both companies were hard at work and were spitting out hits year after year. This is a Square Enix that I kind of dream of right now, since they've hardly ever they haven't put out a Final Fantasy game in years now.
Yeah,
like a real one anyway, like a main series one. But I mean, we had Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3 just year after year, like that. And 1988 was when we saw the release of Final Fantasy 2, which, by the way, had doubled the sales of the first game. I mean, Final Fantasy 1 over here is seen as the bigger game, but over there on its initial release, it sold 800. Final Fantasy 2 sold 800,000 copies on the Famicom version, when Final Fantasy 1 had only sold 400,000.
Oh, that's pretty good. That means the first one was good.
Yeah, but that didn't even have quite the same impact as the next Dragon Quest game. That same year, a little game called Dragon Quest III was released for the Famicom, and it sold over 1 million copies on the first day.
Good God.
Yeah, that is sick. This is a Famicom game, remember. This 1 million copies on the first day. In fact, it was so popular that students skipped school to purchase the game, leading to almost 300 arrests for truancy on the day of its release.
Wow.
People were skipping school just to get this game. 300 arrests.
Wow, I mean,
kids skipping school.
I skipped school just for the hell of it, but I would have definitely done it for this.
Yeah, would you for Final Fantasy 3?
Well, for Dragon Quest 3.
Oh, Dragon Quest 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think so?
Probably, if I was back in the day.
Yeah. and Japanese.
Obviously, I wasn't alive at this time, but...
The Famicom version of the game alone for Dragon Quest III would sell 3.8 million copies, and with multiple remakes of the games for multiple remakes of that game as new systems emerged, it has proven to be the most successful game of the Dragon Quest franchise. So,
oh wow,
you know, Enix in this early period outsold Square every single time. I mean, Dragon Quest 1 sold over 1 million copies, with Final Fantasy 1 only selling 400,000. And of course, on the same year that Final Fantasy 2 is released and Dragon Quest 3 is released, it's what, quadruple the amount of sales almost?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's an incredible success for Enix against Square. Square and Enix were basically exchanging punches from year to year, with, you know, Enix coming up on top during that time. In 1989, the same year Square released Final Fantasy Legend for the Game Boy, Enix merged all of its assets together, including the Densha whatever power company, and officially became Enix Corporation. So they became an even like one solid big company instead of going out and having their hands in a bunch of pies. In 1990, both companies released their next addition to their mega franchises, Dragon Quest IV and Final Fantasy III. This is not Final Fantasy VI. This is Final Fantasy III. Mm-hmm. Both of the games were two of the best reviewed games of that year, according to Famitsu. And although I couldn't find sales figures for Dragon Quest IV, I'm sure they're huge. Final Fantasy III proved to be the biggest NES Final Fantasy game, selling roughly 1.4 million copies in Japan. Now, again, I don't have sales figures for Dragon Quest IV, but I just assume that they're bigger, given the success of the previous game.
Yeah.
Now, Dragon Quest IV would win Famitsu's Game of the Year award in 1990. But Final Fantasy III would prove to be much more resilient with time, and in 2006, Famitsu named Final Fantasy III the 8th greatest video game of all time, above Dragon Quest IV.
Are you kidding me? The 8th greatest video game of all time.
Remember what I was saying
that everyone loves
a couple
weeks
over ago? I was like, you know, we kind of have a negative view of Final Fantasy III here, or at least me and you do. And really, in comparison to the other games in the Final Fantasy series, to us North American players, I mean, it's a little lower, right? But we've only played the 3D remake version, and I'm wondering if the NES version really is that much better. I mean, it's possible. They had to change a lot of stuff about the battle dynamics for the 3D version. And so we're not really getting the pure Final Fantasy III experience over here, and maybe it's quite a bit different.
Yeah, that might be it. I don't know. But even then, like, I don't even know how many of these I would put in the top 10 for Final Fantasy games of greatest games I've ever played. Like, probably maybe 2 or 3 of them, and 3 would not be in that list.
Well, it's insanely popular, nonetheless, in Japan, at least.
Apparently, yeah.
So, both Square and Enix ended their Famicom eras with a bang and set up 2 monster franchises for glory in the process, basically. But it was time to move on to the next big thing. And, of course, this was the age of the Super Nintendo. Now, I didn't actually put this in my notes, but around this time, I believe Enix started to publicly trade their company. They became a company where you could buy shares and stuff for. So that brought in a lot of money for them.
I would imagine.
So Enix is doing extremely well during this era. Nonetheless, it was quiet for 1991, but during 1991, Square Enix released 4 games: Mystic Quest, of course, Final Fantasy Legend 2 and 3, and the mega hit and one of the most important games in the Final Fantasy franchise, Final Fantasy IV.
I assume you mean Square Soft at this time,
yes,
not Enix.
Square Soft. Did I say Square Enix?
You said Enix.
Oops. Okay. So Final Fantasy IV, if you remember, we played 1 through and 3, and then we got to 4, and 4 was so much different. It was more expansive, and it had a much more in-depth story. And it really, Final Fantasy IV has more of a mark on the series than any of the 3 games before it, I think.
Yeah, it definitely does. It feels a lot more like what we acknowledge as Final Fantasy today. It's really where it started to hit its stride.
So now Square had Final Fantasies 1 through 4, and Enix had Dragon Quest 1 through 4. So Square has caught up because Enix decided for 1 year they weren't going to make a game. So around this time, both companies had been focusing on their successful franchises works almost entirely since 1987, but it was in 1992 where they both began to experiment with other IP. Square expanded the Saga series that year with the hit Romancing Saga, and Enix released the games Soul Blazer and EVO, The Search for Eden. And at the time, both Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest would cap their relative series with the numeral 5 in 1992, with Final Fantasy V selling over 2 million copies. So way, way above everything else that came before it. And Dragon Quest V, of course, selling over 3 million copies. So Dragon Quest, once again, on top of Final Fantasy. In Japan, what I have not mentioned during this time is that both Final Fantasy I and Final Fantasy IV were very well received and were big hits in other areas like North America and Europe.
Right.
Enix was not quite having the same amount of success. Although Dragon Quest, I believe the first one was successful, the other 3 games that came out after were not very successful at all. Dragon Quest 2, 3, or 4. And Dragon Quest 5 was never released in the United States because they didn't want to spend money localizing it and not get any money
back.
And Square, they of course had put out Final Fantasy as Final Fantasy 1 and then Final Fantasy 4 as Final Fantasy 2. They were having a much more successful time with their games. However, there's multiple reasons that they weren't able to localize 2, 3, or 5 for North American audiences until way later.
Yeah, it was like 2000.
But, we're seeing kind of their amount of copies sold or whatever. We're seeing Dragon Quest outsold Final Fantasy usually quite a bit more, but Square is kind of making up for that during this time with their North American sales of 1 and 2 or 1 and 4.
Right.
So, and that kind of continues. That trend continues on to today, where Final Fantasy sells way better outside of Japan and sells well in Japan. But Dragon Quest sells amazingly in Japan and doesn't sell hardly at all outside of it.
Yeah.
Besides Dragon Quest 8.
Yeah, Final Fantasy is stomping Dragon Quest overall, though. Like, ridiculously.
So, with Dragon Quest V, however, Enix kind of stopped making Dragon Quest games for a few years. I don't know why you clicked off the thing.
You were done reading your article.
I wasn't. I was almost done. So they kind of stopped making their Dragon Quest games at that point, and Square really like went into the next gear with their Final Fantasy games. So what we're about to see on the next installment of the History of Square Enix, we're about to see Square's golden age of Final Fantasy games, and we're going to see Enix move off into a whole bunch of different directions with a whole bunch of different franchises and games. So it's going to be very interesting. This NES and kind of early Super NES era, they were really starting to get into it, you know? They were really starting to hit their stride, at least Square was. But it's really 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is when Square is just mega huge.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll see its downfall later on. Now I say downfall in quotes because they're still going strong now.
Right. Well, I mean, 9 wasn't that successful. But...
It was successful. I'm talking about Spirits Within.
Oh, the mega downfall. Well, I can't wait.
You can't wait.
But I'll have to anyways.
You'll have to. All right. Shall we move on to questions?
Yeah. You know, we kind of sparked a few questions last week when we finished what we had, which is surprising. We haven't done that forever.
Yeah.
Ever, I don't think, except for maybe in the beginning.
No, we've done it. We've finished our questions before.
Well, I don't know. It's been a long time. At least it feels like it has been. I don't know.
All right, let's get to it.
Questions for us. We would like to hear from you. You moments. Or contact us on Twitter. Get on and ask your questions. We'll answer them in a week. This is the question segment. Ask and you will receive.
Can you stop clicking on shit during the middle of this? Because whenever you click on it, there's like an awkward kind of cut in the music.
Yeah, I can see that, but if I don't, then you'll throw a bitch fit that I didn't have the window right there. So which one do you want?
No,
which one do you want? Do you want the little noise?
I will
or do you
not,
want the thing?
I will not throw a bitch fit.
Oh my god, whatever. All right. So the first question we have is, why hasn't anyone made an FF series radio theater audiobook? This is from Shinru.
Okay.
For those of you not familiar with the concept, he has a little wiki
in case we're not familiar with the concept of a radio drama.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess maybe some people wouldn't be.
Obviously, it's an audiobook reading, but with multiple people doing accents and voices for various characters and reading the dialogue for the game like it was a story, and not only that, but adding sound effects and music from the games. Kind of like what we do with Super Sexy, but on a much bigger level with more people, effects, and music. He says he wondered about this the other day and decided to search and found nothing. Not even anything by the fan community.
Okay.
He's surprised that no one has tried to make a full FF7 the audio drama or something along those lines. If Square ever did this, he would pay top dollar to buy it. He'd really enjoy listening to the FF7 audio story with a lot of people voicing characters and hearing his favorite FF sounds. And, of course, the music.
Okay, what is this link he has on here? Let's listen to it, I guess, for a second. Oh, is this... Wait, just skip over. Oh.
It's like exactly that.
Hey, didn't catch your name. Cloud.
Huh.
What is he talking about? He just made one. He's going there.
So, do you think Square would ever do their own full-fledged FF7?
I thought there was an FF10 radio thing.
I have no idea.
I think there is.
I have zero interest in...
I think there's an FF10 radio story.
Why would there be an
there.
FF10 radio story? It's
like, well, you know the little novel FF10 2.5 that they put out? It's the other half of that. Oh. Is like a radio drama type thing. I think it's on our special edition of FF10.
Maybe.
I think it is.
I don't know. Maybe
I think it exists, Shinru. Maybe not for FF7, but for FF10, I know there's something like that. Do you want us to do it?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do like a little crowdfunding thing for us to...
I think it'd be interesting. I think before they ever do that, they should novelize their games if they're going to do something like that. You know, like the Diablo series or Warcraft or whatever. Or Halo. They always have novelizations and kind of spin-off things. I think that'd be much more interesting to delve into the Final Fantasy universe with than a radio drama thing. But, you know, to each his own. I guess that'd be pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I mean... It can be.
Of course, I already played the game. I know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes more sense with 7 than with like 10 or something like that, just because 10 had voice acting. But I guess there's that weird ass book that you have that they threw out after 10, and it's supposed to be, I don't know, it's got a really weird story from what I've seen, and it looks stupid. It really does. It's like a blitzball that's a bomb, and it blows up somebody's face. Like, I shit you not. So maybe they shouldn't.
Oh, don't shit me, please.
No, I would have to eat you first. So, yeah, that's... I don't know. That's funky.
Okay. All right, so... I thought you got rid of those.
I thought I did, too.
Okay.
No, we already did these.
We already did that. See? Okay. So the next one is... are you in charge? If you were...
Yeah, we can do that.
In charge?
Ooh, this is interesting.
Oh,
you are in charge.
I was thinking about this and I never...
You are in charge of choosing a Hollywood director for Final Fantasy. All right, let's say you're a bigwig boss of a large Hollywood studio and have recently received the rights to a Final Fantasy game of your choice. You then look at your large list of directors and have to choose one which you think will be the best option for the movie. You will be in charge of them, keeping close to the original story so they don't take too many crazy liberties with the script.
Let them take them. Sorry. Oops.
What FF would you adapt into live-action movie, and what director would you choose? This is from Shinru again. He says, would you get Darren Aronofsky to do 6? Michael Bay for 10 or 13?
No, not Michael Bay for FF10. No.
13 maybe. There's a lot of explosions in 13, but not 10. Christopher Nolan for 8.
Why 8? I guess because it's a
weird
time travel and weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
James Cameron for 7 or 4. Peter Jackson 5, 9. Quentin Tarantino for 12.
What? Where do you see that? Because Quentin Tarantino wouldn't direct a movie unless he wrote it.
True, yeah.
So,
I don't know.
Steven Spielberg's FF1. Huh.
Who would you get and what movie? Man, it would be easier if you guys just gave us a game and then asked us.
Oh, shit, dude. That's a rough question. Well, I don't know. It's just, what would you got a director that you would have in mind for FF6? Now, we gotta think about a director whose work is very similar in tone to a specific game. I would say the Wachowski brothers for FF7. Or, excuse me, Wachowski siblings for FF7.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want them to write it, but they can direct it all they want. They really got that anime stuff down with the Matrix and with Speed Racer, and I think FF7, I think they do good work on, should they not write it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because their dialogue's really wooden.
Shoot, I don't even know. I don't know, I think 7 would be cool if we got the guys who did Fargo and...
The Coen brothers?
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Well, it'd be sweet, but would it really match the game and like go close? No, it wouldn't at all.
The dialogue would be awesome.
Well, yeah,
and the violence would be
like I mean, we could just pick them. Like we can pick Quentin Tarantino, or we can pick the Coen brothers, and we can just know that at the very least, the movie would be interesting.
Yeah. I don't even know.
Would that really match FF7? I don't think so. I don't think Coen brothers would match FF7 at all.
I don't think it's Matrixy in the slightest, though. FF7. It doesn't feel like. Yeah, it's.
I see it. Late 90s sci-fi. Anime-esque.
The action's totally off, though.
I'm not talking about the action.
Well,
I'm
that's
talking
like
about the
80%
direction
of the movie.
No, that's not 80% of the movie.
There's like a tiny little story.
How much action
that's interesting. There's not. I'm just saying, like the whole jumping around and the mind-bending super craziness. I mean, it would work for 8 too, though, because there's all that weird shit with him getting speared, and then suddenly he's like awake and fine, and I don't know.
I think you could
wouldn't make a friggin' movie.
I think you could put Ridley Scott in front of any of these.
That's true, yeah. He would probably do a good job.
Because he's kind of a chameleon, but at the same time, he does those big movies, and he's done fantasy before, and he's done sci-fi before.
You think you should just get Ridley Scott to do the whole series in film form?
I don't think you could make a movie out of FF1 through 5.
No, probably not.
You might be able to make a movie out of 6. You might be able to make a movie out of 7 if it's like a 2-parter, because Eris dying in the middle would only be emotionally relevant if she were to die at the end of a movie and not in the middle of a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be very emotionally powerful. FF8, I don't know. Would you be able to make a movie out of that?
I don't know what I would do.
I mean, the games are movie-like already, but I mean, you got to think about movie structure and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think...
You got to think of a 2 to 3 hour movie. I mean, would it really work?
I don't know. I don't know with a lot of them, I don't know if it would work, because you would lose so much because you're compacting it into this 2-hour thing when it's a 50+ hour game. It would just be an action movie.
I don't think you can make 9 into a movie. FF10, I think you could make into a movie.
Yeah, that one you could. 8 would have to be like an action movie. So like,
I think you should just let Hironobu Sakaguchi direct another movie.
You think so?
Yeah, is that a weird thing to?
Well, I mean, it's a weird thing when you look at the last one he did, but...
Well, I don't think it was... I still think it's an okay movie. I don't think Advent Children is, but that's not him.
No, that's very true.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, all right.
Well, so real quick, we last week we had a question that we didn't really answer. I don't know if you have an answer yet, but do you know what we're going to do for 14? Because I know people are asking us. We don't know what server we're going to be on. It's all up to Rockso, because he's going to freaking bribe us with Gil by the millions. So you'll have to ask him, and he's on the forums. But are you going to play it on PC or PS4? Not that it really matters, because as we know, it's backwards, or not backwards compatible. It's a cross-platform, so we'll still play with each other. I'm just curious as to which one you want to use, because I'm on the fence.
I have both. PC and PS4. I have a copy. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you were saying, though, your school stuff would make it easier on PC.
My school stuff would make it easier on PC, because that means I can do my homework and then just hop on.
Yeah.
It's somehow mentally just easier to do it that way. But it's not really that much easier. I mean, I would rather be on TeamSpeak, though. So I would like to be on the PC for that.
Yeah.
But then again, I could put a microphone up to my PS4 and
yeah, you could. You could do it on there. Oh Jesus! I'm probably gonna do PS4.
PS4. So are you gonna borrow my PS4 version, or are you gonna buy one?
Either way, it doesn't really matter. If you decide to play it on PS4, I'll just buy my own.
Okay.
But the reason being is the streaming's gonna be a lot easier, a lot less setup.
Okay.
A lot less crap happening that's interrupting.
And you get to see it in HD.
And I get to see it in HD, yeah. I mean,
actually, for the PC game, you would be able to, right?
Yeah. Well, my computer is as good as my PS4. But the thing is my TV looks better than my monitor. So it'll look a little better.
Yeah.
Mostly for ease.
Well, if you're going to do it on PS4, I'm going to do it on PS4.
All right.
Yeah. I'll do whatever you do.
Let's do it on PS4 then.
Let's do it on PS4.
So the extended edition of that question.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Schweiss. Do we have any iTunes reviews this week?
We do. We have one.
We have one new iTunes review? Well, yep. Do we have a jingle for the iTunes review?
I think we do.
Okay.
I think we do.
Reviews. iTunes. Reviews.
All right, so Schweiss actually found this one at Sweden, in the Sweden iTunes.
Yep, we were super pumped for reasons that we can't reveal yet.
Oh?
Yep. We haven't done the jingle ever.
Oh. Yeah, we have.
No, we haven't.
Yes, we have.
No, we haven't done the no reviews one yet. No one knows about it.
Oh, shh. Well, don't say that.
Well, they don't know it exists.
Okay, well, don't talk in code and assume that I understand what you're talking about.
So, anyway.
How about that? How about that, Schweiss? Now everybody's lost. No one has any idea what we're talking about.
All right, new jingles. All right, so this one, as we said, is from Sweden. It's titled Top Quality Podcast by Daniel is Great.
Is he?
Apparently.
He's great.
He says, I had never listened to a podcast before, so as the first I ever listened to, I thought, hey, Final Fantasy. I like Final Fantasy. And now it's the only podcast he listens to.
Oh.
These guys are hilarious and extremely entertaining. They are very informative when they review the games they play, while also being funny as fuck. I don't think a podcast
It's funny as F ** K, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's pronounce it right.
I mean, it could be FAC or any number of things, really. He didn't think a podcast could replace his music on long journeys, but move aside, Cannibal Corpse.
Oh, Jesus.
Ultima Final Fantasy is here. He's into the heavy stuff.
Yeah, I see that.
So, yeah, thanks, man. We really appreciate that. And like we've said before, if you guys leave us a review and you're in a country that we don't necessarily catch reviews on very often.
If you're in a country other than the United States, just let us know that you left a review.
Yeah.
And we do appreciate it, and we do look. So thank you for those who have.
Right. And you got a question?
Do I have a question?
Yeah, we're supposed to give them a question.
Oh, yeah, a question from us to you. Now, I feel like we kind of screwed up on the segment last week. I'm not sure if we actually said it or what. We're so confused, but we got a question from us to you this week. So make sure you turn up the volume on that baby, and let's hear that new jingle.
Ooh.
All right, so we did get some new Patreon donors this week who have very generously given their money to us for the month. And assuming everything goes through and everything works out just fine, we will be working on getting you guys a new website in the next couple months. With that being said, we have a couple of goals for the website. I mean, we want the thing to be kind of community oriented and kind of have the thing as one big forum instead of having like the forum as a separate area and then we have the games and whatever. And we kind of want, sections for each of the games, kind of like we do for the first couple of games in our thing, but we want it to be formatted a little bit more pleasing to the eye, and we want podcast episodes to be linked to certain things, but we want to know, not that we're going to necessarily do everything that you guys ask, keep that in mind, but we want to know what you guys would like to see on a website from us.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good sites out there that are, some are still going, but some are not quite so much. And I know we've mentioned Compendium.
Final Fantasy Compendium, yes.
Numerous times. They're really good.
I don't think we necessarily have to go in that direction because I feel like Final Fantasy Wiki really just has the upper hand.
Well, yeah,
there's all of this.
There's no big reason to go Compendium style, but
I would like a few things. I would like the scripts for all the Final Fantasy games on there. I'd like we got to get permissions for a few guides to be put up on the site, like we did for the other site. Mm-hmm. We've gotten one guide anyway.
People are stingy with those, man.
Yeah, they are. There's like onlygamefacts.com.
Yeah.
So if you have a walkthrough that you would like to post on our site, I mean, let us know.
Yeah, we'll throw it up.
We will definitely throw it up. But I just want to know what you guys want in the Final Fantasy site, a little community for our podcast here. What do you guys want?
Yeah, let us know.
And also, if you have any resources as far as building a fan site is concerned, please give those out also, because we're in over our heads for this thing.
Yeah, and I mean, we're hoping it's kind of, like we've said, more of a community thing as opposed to just us doing everything. Not that we are kind of lazy, obviously, at heart, but not that it's about that. It's more about making it something that we all kind of put into and we all are able to post and throw stuff up. And I just want it to be really cool. And it is annoying to me that the site and the freaking forums have to be separate right now. So that's the biggest thing that I'm pumped for.
Yeah, get them together. Bring them together.
Yeah, as one.
Yeah. I might do something like Eyes on FF where it's like a forum, but it's disguised as a website. You know
theirs is pretty cool. Yeah.
It might do that. Or I do not know. Might have to put up a WordPress site where you have a whole bunch of plugins.
Yeah.
Which is another way of doing things.
Yeah.
So
WordPress is so much more limited, though. Although we don't really know how to do any of the unlimited stuff, but you gotta look into that.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out, I think.
Yeah, well, we have to now. We said we would. So, guys...
and where would you go for that? Is that ultimatefinalfantasy.com what we're having to do?
Currently, yeah.
Yeah, ultimatefinalfantasy.com. Where else can they find us, Schweiss?
YouTube.com/ultimatefinalfantasy. Twitter, our handle is @UFF Podcast. Facebook.com/ultimatefinalfantasy. Patreon.com also /ultimatefinalfantasy. Surprisingly, the same thing. But yeah, throw us a buck there, and we'll throw the episodes at you as soon as we get done mixing.
Yeah,
for the most part. And
just throw us a buck. Don't feel pressured to give us like $20.
Yeah,
mean, that's very generous, and we do thank you for it. But
yeah,
if you're just like regular Joe out there, I understand. Just $1 a month. It's helpful. And now that we're more than breaking even.
Yeah,
all of a sudden,
It is, yeah. And
don't feel too much pressure.
It's cool. It's cool. And of course, you can catch me occasionally and us weekly on twitch.tv/ultimatefinalfantasy.
By the way, if you want to see the episodes live, I mean, we try to strive for about noon on Saturday.
Yeah, Mountain Standard
Time. So sometimes we're like 10 minutes late, but we'll always keep you posted.
Right. And of course, all of this and more can be found at our website, ultimatefinalfantasy.com, and our forums. Go ahead and join those. There's a lot of new people, and the more the merrier. And that is ultimatefinalfantasy.boards.net. And of course, we keep forgetting these, but they're also very important to us. We have a couple other shows. We have Getting Fat with Caleb and Joe, our failure of a weight loss podcast / whatever we want to talk about. No, not the podcast itself, but our weight loss is the failure I speak of.
Getting fat is becoming its own thing. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's growing quite a bit. But yeah, check us out there if you care about us and not just Final Fantasy. And then, of course, super sexy swinging fan fiction. We have that as well. So
yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Yes, we are. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, get on Super Sexy on Wednesday. You'll find some new stuff.
Yeah, it's getting steamy.
It's getting interesting. I should say it's going to be. Some people are going to be pissed off.
Yeah, some people probably will be. Got anything else you want to add?
Well, Schweiss, are you going to play 13 at all this week? We got people on the Twitch that are wondering when you're going to stream.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I'll play 13 this week. I don't know when, but I'm going to come up with a schedule today. I'll assign myself with that.
And then you got to put it on the Patreon or on the Twitch?
Yeah, I'll put it on the channel. I'll just go in and edit it and be like, hey, this is when I'm going to be on.
Okay.
So, yeah, you'll be seeing me and see if I can get those hunts 5-starred. I haven't been having too big of a problem 5-starring them, but I've only been doing the kind of the earlier ones. I'm kind of going in order, just tagging the ones that are in certain areas.
Oh, I'm going in order. I got a map with all the hunts on it.
Oh, okay, nice. It's really annoying because if you don't 5-star the thing, you got to go back and re-accept the damn thing.
Yeah, and then walk all the way back.
Yeah, it's like
to the hunt.
It doesn't seem like it should be. It shouldn't take that long, but then after, I don't know.
feel like maybe if I'm leveled up all the way, the hunts will be easy to 5-star, but then it's like, well, I could have 5-starred a lot on the way, and I have 5-starred a few of them just in one try, and I'm like, okay, well, I never have to do that again.
Yeah, that's the nice part.
But at the same time, I have 8 others that I have to redo.
Right. And I mean, I'm trying to use them as a sort of way to grind. I mean, I know...
That's what I'm doing, too. That's what I'm doing.
I know the Adamantoids and the giant things are going to have way more XP, but I can't really kill them right now, so I might as well level up a little bit on the hunts if I can. And of course, the more times you have to do it, the more experience you'll get. So, it's cool but brutal.
We have to pick a server for FF14 soon. I mean, it's really getting kind of crazy out there. I know people are wanting to play with us, and we need to have a time when we're going to be done with 13. Definitely. I mean, we put up a time. It was October 1st, right?
The first. Are
we gonna still keep to that? Even if we don't platinum the game by October 1st, we end the game and.
I don't know. What do you think? Because I know
we probably should. We probably should not take more than 2 months on a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, we probably ought to not.
Yeah, but let's try to platinum it.
All right.
We should be able to. I mean, it seems doable, but then again, my school is crazy right now. Just insane on my schedule. And the only day off I have is Saturday, and that's the day I do this.
Yeah, for hours and hours. Rockso says, he's here.
Oh. Okay, Rockso, what's the server?
Brinhildr.
Brinhildr server.
Yep.
Can we get on Brinhildr? Is it like one of those that's super busy? Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Okay.
But as of right now...
Tentatively, it's Brinhildr.
Yes, for the Gillionaire bribes that we're pulling in.
Unless you got a better bribe.
Yeah, I mean, counter the offer.
We'll take bribes agast Dr. Rockso. Yeah. Although we appreciate his bribe.
Of course, yes. We would never say anything against that.
Oh, man. All right, Schweiss. Well, I think that's going to end it for this episode.
All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you next week and sooner for me. But in the meantime, enjoy the grind.
This has been another production of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. The show was produced by Joseph DeGaulier and Caleb Schweiss, with music and editing by Joseph DeGaulier, parodies and clips from their respective authors, of course. You can get all of our episodes as well as our Let's Plays at ultimafinalfantasy.com. You can also contact us on Twitter at UFF Podcast, as well as our contact page on our website. Be sure to subscribe and review our podcast. Your reviews may get read on the show, and look forward to the next episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast.